Okay, now on your screen is basically, I'm sharing with you the file, again, the file that I already put in the e-learning. So if you click your, you go to e-learning, you will see a few files, which I basically click it now. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So item number four is basically for assignment number 3. Okay, let's click on the first one. 4, item number 4. Item number 4 is basically the project brief. The project brief. This is the instruction, what to do. Okay. Basically, what you need to do is to duplicate what I am showing you right now, because we already given you all the data. We just want you to experience how basically we input data into Microsoft project and how to look at the result, how basically we can generate a few reports, as if in the real project, eventually that is the one that you do. Okay, but since we learn the Microsoft project at the end of the semester, we do not have time for you to let you basically collect the real data and put it into the Microsoft projects like that. So what we simply let you do is basically to duplicate what I am showing you right now. So it is very simple. If you listen carefully, then but most of the time in the real class, physical class, most students will get the answer if they basically do along with my demonstration. They definitely will get the same answer as mine. So basically, it's not that difficult. Okay, let's take a look at this thing, instruction. So what I want you to do is just basically, I want you to develop, look at this thing, develop a work program, generate a plan target, and update progress. And lastly,
Dokter,
yes,
screen dia masih
sekejap,
dekat pause.
Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, sekejap. Screen dia masih dekat folder. Okay, I should do like this. I should share based on entire screen. See whether it is working or not. Okay, sekejap kalau saya. Okay, you should be able to see. Okay, I am, okay, I go back to the folder. Okay, this is the item that in your e-learning, I name it item number 4, 4A, 4B, 4C, and 4D. Okay, so item number 4 is basically this file. This is the one. Okay, we call it assignment number 3, briefing. So the item that I highlighted here, develop a work program, generate a plan target, update here. Update the programs, financial and physical progress. This so you need to do it here. Where is number 3? Number 3 is here. Sorry. Number 3 is update actual project. Lastly is basically here. The last one is draw financial and physical progress graph. So 4 items that basically we need to do. And the most time we are going to spend on item number 1, because we need to set up the project first, inputting all the data. And once we already have the data, arrange it in whatever manners that we want, then item number 2 is very easy. Item number 3 is much easier, because I'm going to show you only one example, because we have 3 data set for item number 3. And item number 4 is basically generate S curve. Once we fill up in this table, okay, eventually this is what we want to do, to generate information based on the blue color, the yellow color one, and the red color basically is the differences between the yellow minus the blue one. So once you get this data, automatically you should be able to draw the S curve. Okay, so S curve, even though Microsoft Project can generate the financial S curve, okay, but in reality, we might want to generate S curve based on our reporting system date, which basically might be weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, etc., etc. Even though Microsoft can do that, but sometimes you want to customize. So this is how basically this class is all about, how we basically customize based on a certain date that we want. This is just example. So once you finish the works on item number 4, then basically you can transfer into here. You can transfer into the blank project S curve. Let me open up this thing. Okay, so when you open up this thing, you notice there, let me make it smaller. Okay, you notice the same table with the date and the blue color and the yellow, the orange color. The item that you need to basically put the blue color basically based on work number on folder number 2. The yellow one is based on folder number work on folder number 3. And basically once you get the data, so you can draw the S curve, okay, using Excel. So then basically the work is basically completed. Okay, the work completed. But Microsoft Project, because we do have what we call folder management, we are going to save files by date. So meaning to say, we need to put our generated data based on date into several folders. Then later on, that folder you will basically zip and then submit through the e-learning. Okay. So when I open up the file, then I understand. So no need to print just one S curve whatever, because Microsoft Project normally everything is there already. You just basically need to click on certain views, and then you will get the answer. That is what I want. I want all the files basically saved into a dedicated folder as instructed in the assignment brief. Just now. Okay, this one, assignment brief. Then basically you just do the submission. Okay, so now let's go back to the folder issue. So I already cover folder number 4. Number 4 is assignment brief. And then folder file number 4B is basically the blank project S curve. Okay, now let's go into 4C. What is 4C? Okay, this is 4C. 4C is what I call basically project setting up. This is example. where to click, but basically it was based on previous version of Microsoft. But don't worry about that, because normally Microsoft do not change very much when they come up with a new version. So everything is still there, except that sometimes when they come up a new version with a with drastic changes, which they really do that. So we still can find the menu. Okay, either it could be horizontally, vertically, etc., etc. But okay, having said that, I am going to demonstrate step by step how to do the setting. This is just file that you can refer if you miss. But again, if you miss, you can still go back to the videos, recorded videos. Anyway, okay, now let's go back to another files. File number 4D. So this one. 4D is basically all the things that we are going to do is basically inside this document. But again, it was based on the previous older version. So what we are doing right now is basically to demonstrate using the latest version to 2024. Exactly the same thing. This is for your reference only. So, okay. So basically, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 item there already inside the e-learning. Okay. Item number 4A. This is very important document. Excel. Excel file 4A. 4A consists of Excel file with 3 sheets, namely task table, sheet number 1. Sheet number 2 is resource sheet. And then lastly is resource unit, 3 sheet. So these are the data that I have provided. Okay. Most of the time, when dealing with the scheduling a project, the most difficult time is basically to come up with the data. You will spend most of the time coming up with the data. For instance, what are the task name based on WBS? You need to develop WBS, and then you need to calculate activity duration, and then you need to figure out what could be the predecessor between each activities, and then you need to come up with the right resources, which basically link with the duration for sure. So those are the things. And you notice that in Microsoft project, there are not many columns that we need to fill in. Well, we need to fill in column A, B, C, and D. That's all. Okay. A, B, C, D, and D. So that's why most of the time you need to have this data for sure. But once you have the data, in order to input into the computer, it is not that difficult. If you understand how Microsoft project works, next time, for instance, you already know how to open up a file, how to input data, how to arrange, how to look at things here and there. So most of the time, that is the issue with Microsoft project. It is like any other software. You need to know the interface of the software first. So that's why you can go for courses later on. If, for instance, you want to make a lot of money, being a scheduler or planner, normally will land you with a higher salary compared to just being a normal engineer. Okay, but of course you need to go for courses, understand very well about Microsoft project, and another one is Primavera. Okay, well versed with those things, and then work for a few years in order to understand about construction method, technique, etc., because it will relate very well with the issue of duration, predecessor, and the right resources. Okay, that is the things. But for us, we just want you to introduce, okay, if, for instance, you have not learned this thing before, you hear this thing for the first time, this is the purpose of demonstrating the software. Okay. Okay, now let me close a few files that I do not want to use anymore. Step, setting, the projects. Okay, we are going to use refer to the project briefing anyway. Okay, now let's start our work. Where do we start? How do we start? Okay, first thing first, you need to create a folder, okay, anywhere in your pen drive or computer. I basically put in my computer, I call it JB for JB classes. And inside whatever folder that you have, you need to create 3 folder. Okay, you need to create 3 folder, namely 1 is original, 2 is plan, and 3 is actual. That is the name of the folder. And all your works for the entire assignment will be landed in appropriate folder based on the project briefing. If we look at the project briefing here, you notice here, item number 1, setting the project. See, save file into folder original. And then item number 2, generate plan, or in another word is basically target, and save into folder number 2, we call it plan. And then item number 3, update actual progress and save into folder number 3 as well. And last item, financial, you can put into this folder number 3 as well. Okay, the S curve for the entire project update. Okay, so first thing first, remember, create 3 folder, namely original, plan, and actual. Okay, after that, now we can start open up our Microsoft project. So where is the project? Search for project. Oh, it's here already. Okay, so when you open up project, click on blank project. Before we go that, you notice that here, beside the blank project, there are a few templates. There are a few templates here. There are a few templates that you can refer to. The template is basically being prepared by Microsoft. A few templates that we can refer to with regard to the construction, namely residential, business, construction, things like that. Only a few. Because you must remember that Microsoft is not meant for the construction industry alone. It is meant for many, many, many different sector or industry. Even a template called wedding planner. You see, even wedding planner also can use Microsoft project in order to plan maybe a grand wedding of the year for the Tan Sri, Datin, Tun, whatever things. So you can use that. This is just an example. But anyway, we are going to start fresh. Click on blank project. Okay, here you go. So you notice that this is the interface of Microsoft project. It has a few what we call a menu. If you click under file, it is very similar to many other Microsoft Office. These are the name, save as, print, etc., etc. And you notice that here, at the end of this, at the bottom of this left-hand side of the screen here, option. Okay, one button called option. So we are going to click option to do the setting up. Okay, there are a few things that we are going to start with. The setting up, and then first file name. Okay, we should start with the naming the file first. Second is setting up. So this is the button. And then the third is basically we must set up our calendar. That is the first 3 things that we need to do. And then only we are going to input the data into the appropriate columns, organize it, and then do the rest of the things. Okay, so before we go further, before we even start our work, well, there are courses that you can go in order to understand how Microsoft operate. It is very similar to when you go to courses about Word. Normally, we do not do that. But in reality, everybody should go and learn about Microsoft Word because there are a lot of features that we might not know. Okay, we just simply explore. But people in the office, for instance, the typists, they can do fantastic job with the typing thing because they learn appropriate things. We can go for courses for Excel as well and many other courses. So similarly, Microsoft Microsoft project should be learned in similar manners. So that is one type of courses. Another type of courses is which basically we incorporate into our assignment, managing a project using Microsoft Project. Managing a project using Microsoft Project. So meaning to say, we already prepared the data anyway. By right, we should start with the data, but it will take a long time anyway. So we already have the data, and then we are going to input, organize. That is the things that relate to managing a project using Microsoft Project. That is the courses that you should go. And when you select such courses, well, it depends. Sometimes we also do not know whether the instructor for the courses is good or not. Okay. If the instructor do have practical experience, for instance, project manager managing project before working with all kind of planning software, that should be the correct learning environment. Otherwise, you are not going to get the most. Okay. All right. So you notice here in Microsoft Project, there are a few columns here, few columns, and there is a divider in between here. This is the divider you can drag to the right and left. And only a few columns that we need to fill in, namely task name, duration, predecessor, and then resources. Start and finish, we do not put the data. It is going to be auto-generated. Once we set the project date, then everything will be plotting according to the project start date. So we don't have to bother about this. This is what we call early start and early finish. In manual calculation, we learn about early start, early finish. So this date belong to that kind of things. You must remember that Microsoft Project do the scheduling based on the date, not based on the duration that we normally do. Okay, even the duration is there, but they basically focus on the calendar date. That is basically in real practice, that is what normally people do based on calendar, daily works. That is how we schedule things. Okay. And then on the left, the right hand side here, you notice the right hand side is what we call the Gantt chart area. This is Gantt chart area. You notice on the top here, this is what we call time scale, which basically you can change the time scale, the top tier, bottom tier, middle tier. You can basically change this one into whatever thing that you like. For instance, let's say in order to make it easy for presentation, you want the time scale to start from day one of the project. Yeah, you can do that by clicking on these the time scale ribbon there. And automatically, once you input duration for the task, and the bar chart will be drawn automatically here. So we don't have to correct the head, draw a separate bar chart. So that is what scheduling software is all about, okay? And the PDM diagram, where basically PDM diagram is being shown. The PDM diagram is being shown here on the left side of my screen. Oh, okay. Maybe when you open up your software for the first time, you might not have this icon here. How to get this icon? Okay, move your cursor here into the left side of the screen, click right, and this menu will appear, and you click on view bar. So basically, your screen might look like this, which basically you do not have the icon. That icon is basically we call it the shortcut menu. The menu is already on the top here, but sometimes in order to get the menu, you need to click here and there, you do not know. So Microsoft basically have made a shortcut menu appear on the left side of the screen by clicking on this view bar. This icon here. Okay, I have mentioned about bar chart. Okay, the bar chart is basically on the right side of the screen after the divider there. And where to look at the PDM diagram. PDM diagram, you can click under here, network diagram. It is empty because we have not input any information or whatever task yet. But later on, once we input our data, you will see those bar chart, those diagram will appear, okay? But again, the diagram consists of the date, not the duration as the numerical calculation as we did in the class. For instance, let's say item A is basically 4 days. So we start with 0 plus 4 equal to 4. No. Microsoft project, we start with the date. Let's say we start the project 1st January 2027. If it is 4 days, then 4 January. Supposingly, if we do not have any holiday in between, 4th January 2027, that is the ending, the finish date that Microsoft project will show in that box, unlike what we have experienced manually, okay? The manual calculation is for us to easily interpret the result, but in scheduling, they schedule according to calendar, okay? If you want to go back to the Gantt chart, click here. So this is when we are working, for instance, on normal view, we are going to be at the Gantt chart views, okay? All right, so now let's start our works, okay? I do have another videos already in your project briefing. I split into two, the pre-recorded one. The one basically consists of interface. I teach a little bit how to input data. I explain a little bit on manual scheduling. You notice here, at the bottom here, there is manual scheduling and automatic scheduling, and how to link between activities. So you can refer to that short videos anyway, because I want to go directly to the work that we have to do. Okay, first thing first, there are 3 things before we start inputting the data. So number 1, we shall name our file, okay? Click on file, then save as, okay? Save as. Choose the folder that you want to be. Let me try to click on the right folder. By right, we should put into the original folder. Okay. Okay, let me search later on, because search on the right folder, okay? Okay, this is the right one, folder number 1, okay? And name the project 1 is the generic file for Microsoft project. For instance, if you open Excel, they will say Excel 1, isn't it? Word 1. Okay, so similarly in project, generic name is project 1. So please save under your name. So my name is Rahim, I put under my name. So you will put the file under your name because you are going to submit those file. later on I can identify, or later on when I check, I know which file belong to whom. And then click save. And you notice at the top of this screen here, project 1 has been changed to the appropriate name. Okay, so that would be number 1. Change the file into your name. And then number 2. Number 2, we are going to do the setting up. Remember, in the e-learning file, folder number 4C or something, setting up. That is example how to do setting up, but I will show step by step how to do the setting up. Click on file. The last menu here is option. So you click option. Now this thing appear. Okay, this thing appear. There are a few things that we are going to click. Okay, first thing, we are going to click on general. There is nothing that we need to change. Okay, this is for you to play around. I normally will start with display. Okay, first thing first, display. Where do we change or do some kind of tick the box or untick the box? Okay, perhaps in your box, this entry bar still not being ticked, so you can tick. Okay, the rest basically are the same as mine. Okay, the only one that not being ticked is the entry bar. Entry bar is here. I think this is the area where later on you might want to input things. It is like Excel, so you can basically edit here. That is the meaning of entry bar. So what I want to change is basically this unit here. So you need to find MYR. If when you start your Microsoft project, the currency symbol is based on dollar, so you basically change to MYR because we are going to use RM on all the costs that we input. So we don't have to change, edit into the sheet. It is automatically generated. MYR, and the symbol that we are going to use, symbol here is RM. If yours do not basically show RM, instead of RM, it basically show R. So you just simply change, add another M. That is the things. Okay, that is the thing that you need to change. Okay, I repeat again. Decimal, it depends. If you want to put, or if you do not want to put also, okay, we make it 0. It's easier that way. Okay, so I repeat again. Click on display. Change, find MYR. Make sure the symbol is RM. Decimal is 0. And then tick on this entry bar. Okay, so you are done with display. Then go to schedule. Okay, here. We have a few things that we need to set under schedule. First thing first, week start on what? Week start on what? So go back to our here, project brief. Item number 1, setting for the project. The information is given here. File name, project start date. We are going to do that thing later on after setting up. Here, this information. You notice this information basically is going to be input into our Microsoft project here. This is setting up. And you notice we are going to start the project on 1st January 2027, which is next year. That is a typical when we develop a project, it is meant for the upcoming project, not a project that already finished. That is what planning is all about. So next year, 1st January 2027, basically fall on Friday. So choose Friday. If basically it fall on Wednesday, choose Wednesday. Otherwise, you are not going to get accurate information because your scale is basically off already. Okay, and then fiscal year start on when? Since we start the project on January, so fiscal year basically start in January. If you start on a project on 1st February, so you change to February. Okay, many people do not do this because they thought it is they thought that automatically it is meant that by default working day start on Monday. No, no, no. This basically refer to your project start date. Okay, now default start time. At 8 to 5 is default start time. 8 to 5, actually it is 9 hours minus the lunch hours. Minus the lunch hour, basically 8 hours. So basically that is the normal working hours, 8 hours per day. But we want to change this. Instead of working from 8 to 5, we want to change working from 8 to 7 p.m. Okay, 8 to 7 p.m. 8 to 7 p.m. Actually, it is 11 hours, but we minus lunch hour. So basically, the working hours per day is only 10, and then we are going to what we call scrap the holidays, the public holiday. No, no, not the public holidays. We are going to scrap the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So meaning to say we are going to work every day. So if one day is 10 hours, so 7 days a week, that will be 70. So you just simply type in 70. And then we are going to work every day. Every day meaning to say we assume 30 days. Okay, so change that information here. Change to 7 p.m., change to 10 hours per week, 70, and days per month, 30. Okay, now you already finished on that thing. Show assignment unit as, this is another things, where basically this thing will appear. It will appear in the resource sheet, okay? There are two options, decimal and percentage. If, for instance, you do not change into decimal, the unit of resources, let's say one surveyor, if you put into, if you stick with the percentage unit, so it means 100%. So instead of percentage, we normally change into decimal. Decimal meaning to say, one surveyor, it will show 1. So 1 meaning to say, it refers to this unit actually. We might understand differently, but this is the things. Okay, so this is the file name, Rahim. New task created. This is another thing that you need to change. You notice there are two options, manual and schedule, auto schedule. We are going to choose auto schedule. Auto schedule. In Microsoft project, previously, long time ago, they only have one option, auto schedule. But since a few years back, they put a manual schedule along in the menu anyway. Automatically, you can start with the manual scheduling. What does manual scheduling mean? Manual scheduling means you don't have to follow the format needed in order to fill up all the item there. So this is just for the purpose of normally we do the brainstorming session or pre-planning, whereby we do not have many information. We just put everything onto these the Microsoft project with no date, with no duration, nothing. So it is easier to use manual scheduling instead of auto, because auto will keep asking us to input data, which we do not have yet. That is the purpose of manual scheduling. So we select auto schedule, and then the duration is entered in days, even though there are many options. Actually, Microsoft project, you can mix and match units. You can, even in one project, you can mix and match unit. For instance, minutes, hours, days, week, month, like that. But for our project, we just stick to one unit for all the task duration. And then hours work is enter. We do not enter any work, but work is automatically will be calculated based on what? Work is being defined as unit of resources, time, duration. For instance, one surveyor, meaning to say one unit, and that surveyor is going to work for 1 day. And 1 day is equivalent to 10 hours. So 1 times 10 equivalent to 10 hours. So that is what we call work. Work in term of hours. But if work in term of duration, it is only 1 day. So work basically is being defined as unit of resources, time, duration. If you have many resources and time with that duration, they're meaning to say you are going to have many hours being counted in that things. It is automatically being calculated. Okay. Then default task type. Okay, you need to pay attention to this. When you click this button, there are 3 items: fixed unit, fixed duration, fixed work. Fixed unit and fixed duration the other type of what we call task type that we can put in. Okay, instead of putting into fixed unit, we can use fixed works. So basically they are the same, but again, as I mentioned, work is being counted as unit, time, durations. And then another type, if you remember, we talk about project, resource smoothing and leveling. When we talk about resource smoothing and leveling, I mentioned to you there are 2 types of scheduling that we normally practice. One is basically we fix the time. Fix the time meaning to say we fix the duration. It's same terminology anyway. And then another thing I mentioned, we fix the resources. Fixing the resources is very similar to fixed unit or fixed work, because inside this unit and work, there are resources being incorporated into that. So we must select this thing correctly. So when you do not select, okay, let's say you let this your computer like this, and later on when you input your data based on the date that we already set for each of the tasks, and then later on you input the resources, you will notice that the unit of duration now start changing, right? Suddenly it changed automatically by the computer. Why? Because of this issue. Because the computer thought, let's say, for instance, you input the task first, duration and predecessor. That what we are going to do without the resources. And the computer thought without the resources, those are the duration. But then when you input the resources, the computer thought, okay, now you have added resources, automatically the computer will adjust the duration accordingly. That is the logic, isn't it? But we do not want this thing to happen. Since we already have the fixed duration, we are going to click on fixed duration. When we use the fixed duration, make sure this box is not being ticked, because this box here, this box, is basically meant for fixed unit or fixed work only. When basically a fixed unit, when you do the fixed unit, this is the correct matching. You basically tick this box. But if, for instance, you do the fixed duration, please untick this box. This box is basically unticked from the beginning already. Okay, so change that to fixed duration. This is what we want. And then what else? We are going to tick the auto link. We are going to tick the auto link. Okay, the rest you don't have to bother to tick. Okay, so I repeat again. For the schedule, you need to change to Friday. January is there. 8 is there. You need to change to 7, 10, 70, and 30. Then you change to decimal. and then you click on auto schedule. Days is the one that we want. This one we change to fixed duration, and another box that we can tick is here. The rest, don't touch anything. So now we already complete on this schedule. Okay, on schedule menu. Then we can click on another menu, save. Here, this save menu. So for the first time, for instance, you might want to click on auto save for every whatever, and you want to click on the prompt. You notice that every now and then the computer will prompt asking you whether you want to save now or not. If you are still making changes, you can click on cancel. At least the prompt is there. Okay, next, advanced. Okay, in advanced setting, we just want to focus on the last portion of the box. Don't bother about the rest, because automatically it will be like that. Okay, focus on the last portion of the box here. Tick on all the box here. Tick on all the box here. Okay, so that's why in order to understand this thing, we need to learn about Microsoft Project interface itself. Microsoft Project release books, textbooks, Microsoft Press, Microsoft Project step by step. So if you go to one of the courses that teach about Microsoft Project, basically it is very thick book. You are going to go through the books from the beginning until the end. Just imagine. That is when you can understand what this thing is all about. So for us, we are not going to be bothered with that, okay, for the time being, because we just want to complete our sample. Okay, now next, lastly, this menu, Trust Center setting. Click on Trust Center, okay. You notice under Trust Center, here, this one, you click on here, Trust Center setting. And then under this menu, we are going to click on Legacy Format. Legacy Format, and the last selection here, the last button. So this is what we are going to click. This legacy format is for us to allow compatibility between a few software. Microsoft can read from Excel, SharePoint, and maybe the older format. That is the things, okay? So once you finish on this thing, so basically we are ready to click OK here, this OK button. Click another OK 2 times. So basically, we have completed the setting. If, for instance, you want to double check, go back to File, click Option again. Take a look at what you have changed, because you might miss something. Display, see? We change to MYR, and then decimal 0, we tick on entry bar. Okay, so this is done. Schedule. Again, Friday, January 8, 7, 10, 70, 30. Those are the things that we change. Decimal. Auto schedule. We want auto schedule. And we want the fixed duration, and we tick this box. So we are done with schedule. Then on save, we click on auto save, click prompt. Then advanced, we click on all those box at the bottom of the sheet there. And lastly, we click on Trust Center setting, and there is a button here. We click here, and then legacy format. We choose the last option there, and then you click OK 2 times. You are ready to go. Okay. All right. So you are ready to go. Finish. Okay. And click on this thing. All right. So we have done 2 things already. First, we already named the file into whatever your name. And then number 2, we already do the setting by clicking on File and Options, which basically most people do not do. And lastly, no, the second last, sorry, there is another 2 more things to do before we input our data. we need to click on project start date. Don't forget, that is the most important things. Project start date. You notice here, on this, what we call right-hand side of the screen, there is a dotted line. This dotted line basically shows today's date. So how do we change this dotted line into the date that we are going to start the project? And that is what the project start date is all about. So once we change that, you will notice the dotted line will move to the right date. So where basically do we input the project start date? Here, under this menu. Click on project. Click on project under project information. So project information here, under project menu, there is a project information sub-menu. We are going to click this project information a few times. Very important sub-menu. So click on those things, and this thing appear. And here, start date at the top of the window there. So we just find the project start date that we want for the entire project. We are going to start on 1st January here. And you notice 1st January fall on Friday. See, Friday. And don't click on any other things unless you click OK here. Now we are ready. You notice the dotted line basically here fall under this here. This is the 1st January. That is what we want. Okay. So the last setting that we need to do before we input our data is calendar. You notice here again, under the Gantt chart area here, there is a gray color, gray strip, gray strip that indicate Saturday and Sunday. Saturday and Sunday. By default, working days is Monday to Friday. But we already say that in project brief that we want to work every day, but that is the setting. So we need to show those things into the calendar. So now we are going to do the calendar setting. If you do not do the calendar setting, you are not going to get the same answer as mine. Because mine, for instance, I'm going to work on 7 days, but you are going to work 5 days. Of course, you are going to get different project finish date. That is the issue. Okay, so how to change project calendar again? Here, this is the menu. Change working time. Double click on that thing, you will see this window. See this window. Okay, this is June 2026. We can find January 2027, which is the same things anyway. Okay, let's go into January. See, this is the things. And you notice Saturday and Sunday is a non-working day. If you click on any date here, let me click on the first Friday. And you notice here, this is the working time, which is by default. But we want to change. We already changed the setting, but it will not appear here because we do not change inside here yet. So we need to do the same. Otherwise, the computer will not be able to translate the right information. Okay, 8 to 12 is the morning session. Then there is lunch break. And then the afternoon session, we are going to start 1 until 7. By right, it should be 7. So we should do that for every day. And how basically we are going to change the holidays, the non-working days into working days. And how are we going to set the holidays? There are 2 things here. Okay, there are 3 things. Is setting the working days into holiday, and then setting non-working days into working days, and then another setting is basically the timing. So how do we do that? Okay, let's say, let's start with the putting the holidays. You notice here, there are 2 here. There are 2 what we call icon here. Exception, exception and work week. Exception is basically for us to set the holidays. Work week is for us to set the working days or working time. This is the icon that we can use in order to do that. Okay, let's try. Let's say on whatever days, 25th day, December is the Christmas, isn't it? So let's say we want to set the holidays. So how do we do that? We already click the what we call the date, and we just simply type Christmas, and then we click the date. You see, now the date is basically being set as holidays, which is gray in color. That is how you set the holiday. Okay, but in our project, we do not want to set any holidays at all for the entire project. So this is just example. Okay, now let's go into our setting that we want. Okay, remember the setting that we want to have appropriate working hours, 1 to 7 in the afternoon, and we want every day working hours is like this, and we want also Saturday and Sunday as working days. So how do we do that? We are going to click on this icon here, very small icon, work week. You click here, and then you are going to click the detail. Click detail. Okay, now you see, actually you can select which days that you want. You can select, but um since we are going to set every day is a standard working days, having the same working hours, so I will select all by using the shift button. Just hold the shift button, hold on the shift button, and then click on Thursday. Okay, that is how you select all. Okay, and you can click on control button to select which one do you like. Okay, and then after you select all, then you are going to click on this button, the bottom of the button there, whereby now you are going to set the duration for the project. 8 to 12 is there, okay, and then 1 until 7, you want to change into 7. So just change into 7, and then you click OK. Then you click OK. Okay, double check again. Okay, you notice that here, on any day, because we just simply set one calendar for the entire project. So when you click at any month, it will show the same thing. You notice, this is just double check. Now, if you click on any day, when we start project is the 1st January, this is the timing. 2nd January, this is the timing. Meaning to say, now the duration of the project is being set correctly. And Saturday and Sunday is also working days. That is what we want. Okay, so now you already set the calendar. Okay, so you already set the calendar, and you notice that on this area, the gray color now basically disappear. The gray color that indicates Saturday and Sunday. So we need to say now everything is white. White meaning to say it is working days, except on the 25th December, I set as holiday. Okay, so that is only one day that I just show holiday, but it is not within our project yet because our project will start on 1st January, so it will not affect anything. This is just to show you. Okay, now we are ready with the setting. If it is being asked save, yes, this is what we want. Click yes. Okay, now we are ready with the inputting data. Okay, so finish on setting, isn't it? Now we want to input data. So when we want to input data, go back to our Excel here. This Excel. Sheet number 1, task table 1. You notice that we are going to input the data not not all the data in one go, we are going to choose the easier one first, ABC. There are reasons for that, okay? Later on you will understand. We are going to input ABC. ABC mean what? Task listing, duration, and predecessor first, okay? Microsoft Project can import data, but we are not going to learn that menu. We just going to copy and paste. The data is being set according to Microsoft already. And you notice, predecessor, for instance, you notice that when we do in class, we are going to refer the connected activity with activity A, B, and you notice the predecessor will have A, B, blah, blah, blah. But you notice here, we do not have any A, B, whatever. We just have the numbering. That number basically refer to the ID being generated into Microsoft Project, which basically the same as the ID in this, what we call Excel column, one whatever thing, very similar. That is how Microsoft read the ID. And then when we put into the right format, then only Microsoft can understand, okay? So I already prepared according to the format. So this is the right format in order to put into the computer. Otherwise, when you prepare those information in Excel, not in the right format, you are not going to be able to copy paste. The computer will reject because maybe there is an error in the format. You put a wrong comma here and whatever things, the computer will notify you. Okay, that is the predecessor. And then for resources, you notice that I use the square bracket. The square bracket indicate a number. For instance, dumper. How many dumper? 4. And then you notice earthwork, 2,000 cubic meter. That is what we call quantity. And Microsoft Project read the quantity in that way. Okay. So if you input not square bracket, just a bracket, normal bracket, it will not be able to read because you do not input into the right format. So I already prepared the data into the right format. Okay. So we are going to copy paste ABC. You notice task name, duration, and predecessor. In Microsoft Project, the way the column is being arranged, task name, duration, and predecessor is way here. So what we can do, we can just move the predecessor here. Very similar to Excel, you can move the column. And Microsoft Project, actually, you can insert column here. You can click insert column, and there are, I don't know, maybe a lot of column that you can insert. Let's say you want to insert column WBS. You just put the word, the initial word of WBS, W, and all the listing of WBS will be there, okay? That is how. And in fact, you can also hide the column. Hide the column. If, for instance, you have too many columns that you insert, or you can even insert customized column, that your computer screen might be getting smaller and smaller, so you can hide the screen. Hide meaning to say, hide the column, sorry. Hide meaning to say, you do not simply delete the data. Data is there. Data is not being deleted. It is just simply being hide. Okay, you can choose whether to show or hide. That is how Microsoft Project works. Okay, otherwise it is too much information to show, which is not necessary. Okay, now we are ready. I already put task name, duration, and predecessor side by side so that I simply can copy and paste the information from Excel. Now I open up my Excel again here. Okay, when you want to copy, you are going to copy from row number 2. Don't copy from row number 1. Row number 1 is just the title that I just simply put there in order to mesh with the what we call Microsoft Project, so that you understand. Okay, just copy from row number 2, column ABC. ABC until the end of the box there. here until row number 27. So this box, from row number 2, column ABC until row number 27, just simply click copy and then bring that thing into Microsoft Project. Where to paste? This is again, some people paste wrongly also. Some people will paste on the I column. Some people will paste on task mode column. You should copy based on the right column. That's why I put the name, the first row, the name title accordingly so that you can understand. Even some people still make mistake. Okay, so you copy and paste previously and paste into the task name, the first slot there, and just click paste. Normal paste, okay? So you see, now we already finished on column A, B, and C. And column start and finish is automatically being generated by the software. You don't have to bother, okay? You don't have to bother. Okay, and when we finish this thing, our work is not finished yet. You notice one thing here. Let me zoom in here. Duration column. You notice in duration columns, there is a question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, a few question mark. By right, they should not be question mark. It should be clean. Question mark mean as if the computer is asking you, is it one day? So you need to confirm those things. But you do not want to confirm to just simply click on the one day and click right, click enter. Because you notice that I input the data, I show the data with some color. Some are yellow, blue, green for a reason, okay? Because this has something to do with the question mark things. And where is the issue? Okay. First thing, after you copy into the Microsoft project, into the right slot there, you should get this thing. Then you notice the question mark. Okay, how to get rid of this question mark? The question mark is, it is not to say wrong. This means there is an unfinished work to be done. What is the unfinished work? Okay, now let me insert one, what we call insert column. You can insert column anyway. I choose insert column at duration column, side by side. Click on insert column and click on W. So I want to show the WBS column here. This one. You notice why it is question mark. And the question mark basically belong to the task name, which is not even the task. The only task, basically, example item 3, 4, those are the real tasks. The one being colored, they are not the tasks. They basically show the title of grouping. So several tasks are going to be grouped under a certain category. That is what the colored what we call row is all about. And you notice under WBS, I already showed you in the class, WBS is very similar to organizational chart. Instead of organizational chart for the people, basically the organizational chart that we basically refer is for the work. We can split into smaller work, sub work. And when you do that, you notice that the numbering of WBS will be like the chapter that you write in your thesis. For instance, you have 5 chapters. So chapter 1 is number 1, isn't it? Chapter 2 is number 2. and chapter 3, 4, 5. Those are the big items. But you notice here in our work, item 1 until 26. So meaning to say, all these items are just like chapter by itself. Or we do not want to do that. We want to group the things according to the yellow color. The yellow color basically very similar to chapter. So we are going to have the 3 item only. In yellow, we are going to have site work. Site work should have number 1. Foundation work should be number 2. And close out should be number 3. That is what our plan. We are organized that way. And then we are going to again put the site work into two category again, under zone A and zone B. And under zone A, there are 2 items. So how do we basically let the computer understand? So for zone A, there are 2 items. And then for zone B, there are another 2 items as shown. And how do we do that? This is what we call in Microsoft project, we need to organize our tasks into appropriate category or the name of the task that we already created according to the colored version. Okay, in order to organize, we are going to use this button here. Under menu task, you notice if you click here, this is what we call indent. Indent, actually, it is very similar when you type into Microsoft Word, let's say your final year project report, chapter 1, item 1. Okay, item 1, basically the introduction. And then let's say if you have the sub item under item 1, that will be 1.1. So that is the concept. You start with 1.0, then 1.1. Automatically, if you follow the system of a bullet in the Microsoft Word, it automatically will tab, isn't it? So the indent is very similar to like that. Okay. So and then on the left side is outdent. Outdent, if for instance you make a mistake when you indent and you want to go back, you need basically to select the item that you make a mistake and click on the outdent button. It is like the undo, but it is not the big undo like in the on the top of the screen anyway. But this is just for the indent, the undo for the indent. Okay, all right. So we are going to do that. We are going to do WBS according to the right category of topic and subtopic. Okay, so we are going to start with the yellow color. You notice there are 3 yellow color. I will choose the first yellow color, site work. And under site work, I want item number 2 until number 7 to be under site work. So what you need to do is select the row, the appropriate row. Row number 2 until row number 7. Then you click indent. You click indent, see? You see? After you click, now you know. Site work now has been chosen as one of the category of itemized thing, and now it is being bold, WBS number 1. And you see, there is a subcategory there, but we are not finished yet. We need to basically do another indent based on zone. And when you do that, you will notice this item will be split further. It should have basically 1.1 and then 1.1.2, 1.1.3, things like that. Okay, so I just want to do the yellow color first. Next, I will go into the zone according to zone. Okay, so we have finished with one yellow color. Now we go for another yellow color. you notice item number 8, foundation work. Foundation work, I need to instruct the computer for foundation work. There are tasks that will sit into foundation work. What are the tasks? Okay, the one that I highlighted from row number 9 until row number 22. Okay, so just simply choose the item after foundation work, but before the close out, because the close out basically belong to others. So that is how you select. The issue with some people, they will select it wrongly. Then they are not going to get the same answer as mine because of indent. So indent could be a problem to some people. Okay, so now after you selected, you click indent. Okay, now you notice that foundation work now being highlighted as bold, and item number 2 now is being created. Okay, lastly, close out. Close out, I will select the last 3 items, 24, 25, and 26, and click indent. Now you see, you have 3 items, and this is what I want. It is like 3 chapters. Chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3 by right. Okay, 3 chapters. But then there are sub topic under for item 1 and 2. Item number 3 we are finished. There is more sub category, and you notice the item is being shifted a little bit. This is what indent do actually. Okay, now I already finished, and you notice that there is one icon here, the triangle. If I close this thing, I click. If I click those triangle, perhaps now you understand. There are 3 items being created already. Then I open up the site work to show you. I want to do the indent for the category of zone A and zone B. So how do I do that? For zone A, I just select item 3 and 4 and then click indent. You see, now I already have the right WBS. This is what I want. For zone A, and for zone B, there are items 6 and 7. I click indent. Okay, this is what I want. So now for site work, we already done. Okay, site work consists of item 2 until 7. That will be the first indent. Then we do another indent for the zone A and zone B. So this is what WBS is all about. This is what we want. Okay, then I open up the foundation work. Okay, I want to do the zone A, the blue color. Zone A belong to item to 10 until 15. So I select the right item and then click indent. So you see, you notice the WBS now numbering automatically generated, and it belongs to zone A, and zone A basically belong to foundation work. And lastly, zone B. Select item 17 until 22 and click indent. So now we are done, and then we can open up the last portion. Last portion, do not indent further because they basically do not have the sub category anymore. And now you notice, previously duration do have the question mark. Now the question mark basically disappear. Disappear. Why? Because automatically the numbers that you see here under zone A foundation work is automatically generated. Uh, okay, sorry, what happened? Lost connection. Okay, never mind. Okay. Let me click it again. Sorry, lost connection. Can you hear me? Anybody? Can you see the screen?
Yes,
Doctor.
Okay, okay. Sorry, All right. So now you notice, the question mark already disappear. Why? Because we already done, we already organized the project accordingly. So we are getting the right WBS. So that is how you do. Okay, that is how you do and do the grouping. Okay, now we have done column A, column B for duration and predecessor, and we already did the organize. Okay, so remember, not only you copy paste column A, B, C, task name, duration, and predecessor into the Microsoft project. If you have done that, fantastic. That would be fantastic. But next step, you need to organize using this menu indent. If you make a wrong indent, so you select back uh, the uh, the item that you selected before and click on outdent, it will go back to the original. So perhaps you can outdent all so that you can start fresh, and then only you can get the right answer. Okay, so we have done until now. So how to check whether you get the right, um, whether you copy paste indent correctly? Okay, until now we can do the checking. How do we check? Okay, first thing first, we can click on project and double click on project information, and you notice at the bottom here there is a menu here, statistic. If you click on statistic, you should get 77 days. After you done your WBS correctly, you should get 77 days. This is the right answer for the project is running for 72 days. When do project start? Friday 1st, 2027, and the project will finish on 18 March 27. This is the right date. If you get other than this date or duration, meaning to say, you need to check back whether you copy paste correctly. Sometimes it happened that way. And then you need to check back the issue with regard to WBS. If you already got those information right, duration, so now we can move into the rest of the column. Okay, before we go into that, you notice that here, this column consists of auto-generated ID. ID number 1 until ID 26. And Microsoft Project identify predecessor according to this ID, the first column here. The first column here. Okay, this is automatically generated. And so the row start on the first row. How do we open up, or how do we show zero row number 0? Some people do not know how to come up with those row number 0. They create another row which is not right already. So actually Microsoft Project do have menu, or you can click on one button there. Okay, where is the button? Click on the Gantt chart here. You notice that your Gantt chart still the blue in color, or the Gantt chart here. Maybe I can show the Gantt chart in, let me click on view. When you click on view, you can click on entire project. This is to show the entire of what we call Gantt chart here on the screen, on your computer screen. On view, click on view, and you can click on the entire here, the entire project, to show your entire project on the available screen. If you are using a bigger computer, for sure you can see all, but sometimes the issue with smaller computer. Okay, now you notice that the Gantt chart still blue in color. Okay, we can click on this menu, Gantt chart format. We can click on critical task to show the critical task. And now you notice the here, this is the issue. Okay, the what we call some of the things is basically red in color. That will be the critical task. Okay, the critical task. Okay, now for instance, let me click on one button here. This one, project summary task. This one. If you click on project summary task, you notice that there is a zero, what we call zero row appear. Zero row appear, and it automatically show the summary of the entire project. The name of the project, the duration, start date, finish date, and later on, we can insert another column, cost, then it will show the total cost for the project. But we have not input any costs yet, okay? We have not input any cost yet. So once we put any cost, later on, you will notice, okay? Okay. What happened? Okay, let me stop sharing. Okay, now let's go back into this Microsoft project again. So we have finished the 3 columns. Now you notice that the only remaining thing that we are yet to complete is basically, let me make it smaller, okay, resources. Okay, maybe I can move resources here so that it's easier. Okay, I can move resource. You notice that the only column that we need to input is the resource name. Okay, after we input the resource name, basically we are done with work for item number 1 as per the assignment. Okay, for resource name, even though in my Excel here, I already have the resource name, but okay, in practice, we basically do not input the resource name just by copy here and put into the resource, just like that. No, that is not the right way. I show you the right way, okay? Okay, this is your Microsoft project. We should start with inputting the resources as the database. Okay, we need to list all the resources that we normally use into what we call resource sheet. So resource sheet act as a library where we input all the data, and then we are going to link into this project. Then only, okay, then only resource name will appear. That is the proper way of doing things. Okay, but of course we are going to shortcut those things, because at the end of the day we are going to copy paste. But we are going to start with the resource sheet first. Where to find the resource sheet? Okay, you notice here the shortcut menu. If you drag down here, you will notice resource sheet. Here, this is the resource sheet. Or there is a shortcut menu here, down here. Down here on your right hand side, and then here, notice right hand side of the screen, just 1, 2, 3, 4. Icon number 4 here. I click here. This is what we call shortcut menu, resource sheet. This is the blank resource sheet. We should input resources, all resources, whether we want to use or not, doesn't matter. We can input in here first. And in fact, you can start the Microsoft project file by inputting the resources first. Then you simply save without inputting all the other things that that we start off previously. You just put the resources, because this resource sheet you can use again and again in many other projects. Then when you link the resource with the right activity, then only Microsoft will understand. Otherwise, this will not affect your project at all. Okay, so this act as a library. Okay, so how to input the data into resource sheet? Let's go back to our Excel. This Excel. You notice here on the second sheet of this file, I already have the resource sheet. Colored according to category. Man, or the yellow color, basically man, blue machine, and green one is basically material. Man, machine, material, 3M. Those are the what we call the main item that normally we need in order to perform any task. And those are the items that will require money. Okay, so you notice here, under main, we normally use the type work. Machine also work. Then when it comes to material, we need to select the category under material. This is based on Microsoft, okay? Microsoft category. And another one, column F. Column F, remember in the setting, we set the percentage or decimal, remember, for the unit. This is where things basically reflected. Okay, so decimal simply mean 1. If we use the unit of a percentage, the automatically computer will change to 100%. So instead of 100%, just basically use 1, 2, etc., which we can understand it better. Okay, and where do we get all these units? This is based on your own calculation. Remember, when we do the resource smoothing and leveling, we set some maximum unit, isn't it? So this is what the unit is all about. Okay. All right, that would be one thing. And then last thing is here. Here, this is the issue. Of course, when we perform any task, automatically that task basically require money, either man, machine, or material, or in combination. So each item will do have some kind of costing, but the issue is that how do we put those costing into Microsoft? It is very challenging, because the issue is that if, for instance, each of them do have a split unit of costing for man, machine, and material, then when you combine together, it will basically show the cost if you time with the quantity. But again, the issue is that when you submit to the client a Microsoft file, the client expect the cost shown, the cost meaning to say value, in the client term basically it mean value, which already include the profit. But if, for instance, contractor want to separate those things, that will be different story. We are talking about the common file that you normally share. So meaning to say, this unit rate will basically, there are many ways that you can input, but I personally, in order not to get confused or whatever, I don't put anything on man and machine. I just simply put the unit rate according to the contract document. Based on the contract document, every contract document do have the unit rate, isn't it? The unit rate basically already consists of man, machine, material, plus the profit. And then when you have the quantity, automatically, you know how much does a certain item cost. By doing that, then only you are going to get the same amount as in the contract document. If you split them according to this man and machine, you will be in trouble. Why? Because logically, for instance, crane. On one particular day, how do you know that crane is going to work in this activity, on that activity, and whatnot? You are not going to be able to trace. That is the issue. Crane is not going to work on one particular item. So how are you going to split the item for the crane? And that is very difficult. So instead of doing that, why don't we make it easy? We make it easy. We just simply put into the unit rate. Then you are going to get very close to uh, the 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 contract values. When you plot the graph, it will basically reflect the things that the client want. That is the intention. Another one, okay. Okay, so what we are going to do, since I already prepare the resource sheet according to the format, I am going to copy from the what we call row number 2 until row number what? Okay, row number 20. Okay, make sure I copy it rightly again. So I'm just going to copy row number 2 until row number 20, excluding row number 1. Row number 1 is just the title. So I just simply copy and put into Microsoft. Microsoft resource sheet, the blank sheet. And again, where to paste. Don't paste it wrongly. Paste under resource name, the first slot there. Okay, now I make a mistake already. I make a mistake, so don't worry. I will delete those things. Then I will paste here. I will paste. You see? I will paste under the resource name. First slot. The rest basically will be on the right place now. Okay. And after you paste, you need to check whether it basically copy and paste correctly all the item. Because sometimes you notice some item are not being copied, being pasted for whatever reason. Never mind. Go back to Microsoft. Excel. The unit are not being pasted for whatever reason. Just copy again, and then hopefully it will. Okay. Hopefully it will paste. Here you go. Okay, now I think everything is being pasted accordingly. Okay, so that is how you input the data. You don't have to color this way. I just basically group them according to man, machine, and material. In reality, people do not do that. People do not do that, but I just want to show you. So this is a proper way of inputting. Okay, now, so you notice another things. This is just to show you, but your job is basically once you copy paste into the uh, worksheet, Microsoft resource sheet. So this is done, but I just want to show you one more things. You notice that here, under the type, there are three things appear. Category: work, material, and cost. Actually, you can also input the item per cost basis. Example, I just give one example, subcon A. Then I put traveling. And you can put many, many items, which basically based on the cost basis. And the cost, you do not put it here. This is not the place to put the cost. You are going to input the cost in different windows. Later on, I will show you. So now, actually, what we are doing when we input the unit rate and when we input all kind of these things, and then we are going to key in into a right place, okay, then only Microsoft will generate the overall cost. If, for instance, you do not input the data, then how Microsoft is going to generate those information? So that's why we need to understand where to input, what to input. Okay, so this is the extra. The item that input here is the extra for you to show you. We can input something based on cost. Later on, I will show you. Okay, after we already finished on resource sheet, now we are going to go back to Gantt chart here. The same Gantt chart, okay, and you notice that we are working on resource name. It is still empty, even though after we input the resource sheet. Why? Because we need to link the resource sheet into the right task. Then only computer can understand. So that's why I mentioned to you, resource sheet act as library. You can put as much information as possible, and then you are going to choose the right resources and show it here. Then only computer will understand. Okay, you notice an example. Item number 3. If you click under here, button here, there is down arrow. You notice there are list of resources already shown. Why? It is shown because they read from the resource sheet. Before, there is none of these things appear. Now, basically, you can tick, whichever you like. But the issue with regard to resources, they are also quantity that you need to input. You can tick meaning to say equivalent to 1, whereas you want the item to be 2 in terms of numbers. So how do you do that? The right way to do is basically to input the resources is like this. Select the item that you want to input the resources, like item number 3, survey. Then go to menu resources here, and then click on assign resources. And you notice there is a window, this window appear. Okay, this window appear. Okay, now, for item number 3, require surveyor. So we find where is surveyor here. Click on surveyor and click assign. I can close this thing to show you. See, now surveyor already appear. And in our here diagram, surveyor is being shown. And how many surveyor? I can click again. I can click the same item and assign resource in order to show you the unit here. Unit, you can change the unit into whatever unit, or you can basically type the number. And the cost is going to be automatically generated. But since we do not input any unit rate for the surveyor, so the cost will be 0. You see, that is the things. But let's say, since we already have, I already input data based on cost. Remember, I input subcon and traveling. I can link into this surveyor. How do I do that? Okay, let me show you. Let's say I input subcon. assign, and you notice that the subcon is basically based on costs, and the cost is not going to be automatically generated. The cost, we are the one that need to input the cost here. Let's say 1,000. Okay, close. And you notice that here. You notice that it show subcon as 1,000. When you use the unit cost as a lump sum, so you need basically to input the cost into this right field. But if, for instance, on the other example, we already have the unit rate, the computer will do the calculation. Okay, so that is how you input the resources one by one. Okay, now, since I do not want to do that, okay, because I input the information wrongly according to not what we want, I will delete this item, for instance. Okay, I will delete this item, delete, okay, go back to resource, assign resource. Okay, this item, I will basically delete the subcon. Subcon is not the one that I want. I remove. Let's say I remove the subcon. Sorry. I need to select and I remove. And okay, and surveyor, okay, let's say I want to clear everything because I will use the concept of copy and paste. Okay, but I already show you how to input the data one by one. Remember, you select the item that you want, click on assign resource, and then all the resources are there. You just simply select what resources and you click assign and change the unit according to the information given in the Excel on the sheet number 3 there, and then automatically it will be calculated. Okay, but I do not want to do that. I am going to copy and paste because I already prepared the information on the Excel. Okay, now let's go to Excel. Here, task table 1, here, column D. These are the resources that I already prepared. We start with surveyor. So you can copy surveyor here. Surveyor until the end of the box there, until the end of the box, copy, and then where to paste. You need to paste on resource for item number 3, surveyor. Then you paste. Don't paste wrongly. Okay, don't paste wrongly. When you copy on the right row, you need to paste on the right row also. Don't paste on the first row number 0, row number 1, or row number 2. You are not going to get the answer. Okay, once you paste correctly, okay, and you notice that the resources should not be on the colored row. You see, you notice none of the colored rows should have the resources because resources is meant for the task only. Only tasks will require resources. The colored row is just simply the topic, isn't it? The name of the category. It should not have any resources associated with that. Okay. So if, for instance, you have basically copy and paste correctly, you will notice there are 2 icons appear on row number 12 and row number 13. This is what we call red man. Red man. I have shown you the red man in resource leveling and smoothing topic. And we want this red man to appear in your Microsoft project as well. 2 red men only. If, for instance, you have many red men appear. So The only reason how do you get that thing is basically you copy paste resources wrongly. That's what happened when you have too many red men. But we want to have two red men because I will tell you the issue with regard to red men. Okay. Okay. Now at this point, we want to know how much the cost generated so far. You notice that, okay, let me click on item number 4 again, assign resource. When you click on assign resource, you see there are costs being generated. Cost for what? Earthwork. Where do we get 12,000? We get 12,000 because the earthwork is a quantity is 2,000, and the what we call the resources that we input. Okay, let me click here. You notice that the resources that we input, resource sheet, earthwork is 6 ringgit. 6 times 2,000 is 12,000. So that's why the cost is being calculated that way. This is what we want. So that's why you need to input the right information. Then only computer will give you the right output. Okay. So now we already have some costs associated with earthwork activities. And you notice that earthwork require 4 dumper. See, we already input the right unit, excavator 1 and then roller 1. So all these unit being shown in this what we call here, being shown here. See, dumper 4, excavator, roller, and even the quantity, everything is being shown. If you make it bigger, this column, you will see everything. Okay, you will see everything. It is inside there. You need to expand the column anyway. That is how you input the data and how the cost is being generated. So we want to know how much is the cost after we input the resources. Okay, instead of we can do two things. Again, go to project information, look at the statistic here, click on statistic. By now, we already have some information. Overall project is 77 days. Work hours 7480. You should get the same 7480. If you get other than that, meaning to say your calendar setting might be wrong, your option setting might be wrong. So you need to check back. Okay, everybody should get this thing. And then cost so far 91,620, but we have not done yet with the cost. Okay, but this is just a checking. If you already copy paste the resources, you should get the same amount as mine. But we have not done yet. Okay, now I want to open up another column to show you the cost. See, cost. Okay. You see? Now the cost is there already. But it is not the complete cost yet, because if you look at the column cost, there are items which basically have no cost. Example, survey 0, survey zone B 0. Then what else? Backfilling 0, backfilling zone A 0, backfilling zone B also 0, and then site cleaning also 0. Inspection handover, basically there might be no cost. So there are 5 items that should be having some kind of cost, but now it is being shown 0. So which is not logic, isn't it? How do we fill up the missing costs? If we do not have the unit rate, but we want to show the cost in terms of lump sum, we can do that. This is where normally contractor will do. Contractor, normally they will not input any resources like us. This is the learning purposes, because you must understand in real situation, tasks could be thousand and thousand and thousand of tasks. You just imagine if you want to input everything, I don't know, you need to have a dedicated planner. Most of construction site do not have dedicated planner or scheduler. The same engineer that have to take care of, that is the issue. Okay, we understand. So how do they input the cost? Okay, now I want to show you a quick way of inputting the cost. But we have learned the right way, so this should be the right way. But we just want to input the missing cost. There are 5 items that have a zero cost. How do we input costs? Okay, now let's go to the cost table. There is a shortcut to show the cost table. You can click on maybe under all this category, okay, to look at the cost table, whatever. That is how Microsoft works. But I give you the shortcut. Look at this box here, this small box here, and then you right click. You notice that right now we are under the entry mode. We have been working on entry mode so far. So that's why sometimes when you open up any file that people give you, and suddenly you see things very funny. Well, you need to check which mode that they the views. They could be on course mode, hyperlink, whatever mode, and you thought it could be a mistake or something. No, 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 actually the mode. Now we are under the entry mode. But before you go into the course mode, I just want to show you. If you click under the schedule mode, you notice here, it will show you start, finish, late start, late finish. In our class, we have been learning about early start, early finish, late start, late finish, isn't it? So this is the tabulation of early start, early finish, late start, late finish, and what else here? Pre-float and total float, all being shown. In our class, you need to calculate manually, isn't it? But Microsoft Project, if you basically translate, put your assignment into Microsoft Project to check the total float, free float, automatically you will get the answer already. Okay. All right. So what else? Information. Summary, tracking, user variant, even more table. Okay. So that is how you go into table. So again, I just want to go into the cost because this is what we are going to input. This is the cost. And you notice that the costs are everywhere being tabulated. Why? Because it is being generated through the input that we already put in the resource sheet and resource name. Okay. But the missing item are under survey, for instance, 0, survey zone B, 0, etc., etc. And we are going to fill in the missing costs. Where do we put in? We are going to put in under the fixed costs. And contractors normally, if for instance they do not put costs using our concept, contractor will put under fixed costs, all the costs here. And still, it basically will give the what we call cumulative total cost anyway. And from that, they can also generate S-curve as well. Okay, now we are going to fill in. Where is our data? Go back to Excel again, here. The last sheet here, resource unit. The last resource unit, you notice here, the column C, the unit are being shown here. So those are the unit that I already input into the resource name, okay, actually. And then the missing one is here, column E. The yellow color, there are 5 items there. 9,000 for survey zone A, survey zone B, and then backfilling zone A, backfilling zone B, and site cleaning. Okay, we are going to input those data. 98434. Okay, go back to Microsoft Project. Okay, input here, survey. Sorry, what was that? 8, okay. 9,000. Sorry. 9,000. Okay, 1, finish. 8,000. Okay, finish. And then go to backfilling. 4,000. Okay, you can click enter. Okay, and then lastly, site cleaning is 4,000. Click enter. So once you click, you again, here 9,000. Sorry. Where did I put? I do not click enter here. 8,000. Okay, sorry. 4,434. Okay. So once I input the data accordingly, site survey 9,000, zone A, survey zone B 8,000, backfilling zone A 4,000, backfilling zone B 3,000, and lastly site cleaning 4,000. And by now you should get this amount, 119,620. This is the final cost that we want. Okay. So after that, okay, now I can go back to the bar chart again, the entry. So you notice this is the amount that we want. 77 days, 119. Project start on 1st and project finish on 18 March. And we are dealing with the 2 red men. Okay. So this is almost done. Okay. Almost done, except on the red man. Okay. So now, if you have come to this uh, moment, for instance, so meaning to say, now we are going to deal with this red man. So the issue is that Microsoft Project act as a tool, planning tool. It will give all kind of indicator for us to read, and we are going to react. That is the purpose of the software. If, for instance, we see the red man and we do nothing, then it basically defeats the purpose of planning. Planning is basically to help us. A tool is to help us. Okay, now, once we have the red man here, so we need to resolve this issue. So how do we do that? Okay, let's go back to our resource sheet. And the red man basically appear. The red man basically appear. And there are 2 things, or 2 or 3 things that we can do. One is basically to look at what is the issue. Okay, but in your case, I tell you, you are going to change this thing. Let's say you change into 15. What is going to happen? Or still there? You in such a way you increase the resources. Let's increase into 16. Oh, it looks like it is okay. So in your file, you are going to change this thing into 14 to 16, and the red man basically disappear. And you are going to click save file. So you are done with the file in the original folder. Okay, so that is what you need to do. But in my case, I want to explain. Okay, let's say if we are having this situation, what shall we do? If you are the planner, we can investigate where is the issue. We can click here and look at the resources view here. I can click views, more views. I can go to resource allocation and click apply here. And the computer show us, oh, the red man basically appear in 2 areas, in 2 tasks, for zone A and for zone B. Why it happened that way? Okay, now we can drag the slider here to see the issue. And you notice that there are 5 days overlapping tasks. And since we use 8 number of workers for homework A and 8 number of workers for homework B, and when they overlap, 8 plus 8 equivalent to 16. Whereas we set at the resource sheet, the maximum number is only 14. You see, that is the issue. That is the issue. And the good thing about Microsoft Project, if this is the situation, Microsoft Project or even Primavera do have leveling function. You don't have to do this. I just show you. I already show in the class. Okay, how to let the Microsoft do the resource leveling. You can click on resource. Under resource, there is a leveling here. There is a level resource, level all, and then even option clear leveling. Clear leveling is like undo. What I can do is I can click level all, let the computer do the, you are going to notice here, inside here, there are changes, and even our bar chart is going to be pushed back, Okay, how do we do that? I click on leveling, you see? I click on leveling, and what happened is that the computer basically push activity from both zombie forward, push on the right in order to avoid the overlap. And now the red man basically disappear. Okay, it looks like we already resolved the problem. Is it we already resolved the problem? Yes, but we created another problem. Since we push the activity further by 5 days, it looks like the project will be extended by 5 days. Where do we see those things? Okay, if you are under this view, you notice that now the view are being split into 3, uh, 2 on the right, left, on the top, and then there is a on the left. So the splitter, you can basically move the splitter and go back to the Gantt chart. And you notice here, now the project is being pushed by 5 days. If, for instance, you accept this thing, it is okay. But if, for instance, you do not want the project to be extended, what you can do is basically you clear the leveling. You do not want that. Now you can use this clear leveling. It basically go back to the original, okay, whereby the red man still appear. Okay, so I'm just want to show you that Microsoft Project and even Primavera do have leveling function. You can use, okay, that is how you use the leveling function. But on our file here, we are going to resort with one thing. Go back to resource leveling here. We are going to increase the resources, just like that. We already know that if we increase into 16, then we are going to resolve the problem because we already checked what is the issue. So now this is the file that I want it to be, and then I can click save. Okay, save. Then I can go back to Gantt chart. You see, this is the thing that we want. And one thing is that I forgot to show, I already showed the bar chart. Where is the PDM diagram? Here. This is the button. You can click here. No, sorry, where is the network diagram? Sorry. You can click the network diagram here. Network diagram. And you make it smaller. You see, the whole PDM diagram is there. The one on red color are basically the critical tasks, critical activities. The square box is basically the task, but the not square box, the what we call the italic kind of box there, it basically meant for the naming of the grouping. Don't confuse with that thing. Okay, the one basically that have all kind of connection, those are what we call the real tasks. The rest are basically the what we call the grouping task. Okay, now let's go back into Gantt chart. Okay, now we have done with folder number 1. So remember, I just basically save, and then I close the Microsoft project. Close and close. Even I can close this because I have done with the activity number 1. Remember, this is activity number 1, which basically take longest time, okay? But the rest of the thing will be just short. So now we already completed item number 1, okay? So once you completed item number 1, let's check the folder here. See, it consists of the name, the file that I basically created. And now we are going to move into folder number 2 and subsequently folder number 3. This will take a shorter time. Okay, now before we move into folder number 2 and 3, open up folder number 1, copy this file, copy, and then put into folder number 2, and also put into folder number 3. So now each folder do have the same file. Why do we do that? This is what we call folder management. You will understand once we start creating file after file, then in reality, you are going to be working with many files until you do not know which one is which. Very similar to your final year project. When you update, change here and there, sometimes you forgot which one is the letters, and you submitted to your lecturer the wrong file. So similar thing will happen. Okay. See, now we are going to start working on folder number 2. So open up folder number 2. So the same file, in order not to get confused, why don't we make a little bit, we change the file name underscore P. P stand for folder number 2, plan. Okay, so that we are not going to get confused. Okay, now I can open up this file. The same file. Okay, now I open up this file. What I'm going to do next, if you look at this, what we call here, item number 2, we are going to generate plan or target progress based on this date. This date, I basically use every 2 weeks because the project is very short. We just basically want to update project based on every 2 weeks. And we are going to generate the data and put on the blue column here. This is what we call financial progress and physical progress. Okay, so folder number 2, this is what we are going to do. Okay, now open up our Microsoft project again. In order to do that, okay, I am going to insert 2 more columns here so that we can see clearly or quickly. Insert column, percent complete. Percent complete is very similar to this one, physical progress percentage. Physical progress percentage in Microsoft project, the overall percent complete basically being reflected inside the Microsoft project, very similar to what we call physical progress. Okay. Whereas financial cash flow, financial progress in Microsoft project, it is not going to be shown in percentage form. It is going to be shown in actual ringgit. So we can insert column actual costs. So basically, it is being shown in RM, never mind. If you want to convert into percentage, you can do that in Excel, okay? But these are the two things that we want, financial and physical. Maybe I can move it here so that it is according to our table here. The first one is financial. The second one is basically physical here. In Microsoft Project, these two columns, the value will be generated. And once we get the value, and we are going to copy into the table, the blue color table. So, okay, how do we do that? There are two steps, okay? Two steps that we can, in order to do that. Okay. All right. First thing first, how do we do that? First thing, we click on project. Click on project information here. Current date and status date. We need to set the date according to the date that we want. So we are going to start on 14th of January. 1st January, we start the project, and then after 2 weeks, we are going to update the project. So that is the date that we refer to in our Microsoft. So this is the date. So find here, 14 January. Current date, status date, the same 14 January. So you must set those two dates according to the date that we want. Okay, set this date, the same date, and then click OK. So that will be the first step. And then second step, we are going to click on update project here. This button here. Click update project. The date that we already set already appear, and we are going to click OK. And you notice this is the value. So this is the value that we are going to copy and paste. Okay. Let's say copy. And then go to our Excel for here and then paste. Paste. You see? Now you already have the data. And for the physical progress is 15. As shown here. See? This is how you generate information. What does this thing mean? Actually, once you already prepare the schedule, and then you want to know, let's say your target progress date is every month or every week, bi-weekly or whatever. You are the one that set the target, and you want to know 2 weeks after you start the project by right how much work should have been done. So in this case, should be like 15%. The computer is the one that calculate for you. And how much money that you should basically spend in order to pay everybody? 19,040 ringgit. So that is the value generated. This is what we call target. Okay, so once you get the data, what you can do, you need to save as. Where do you save? Again, save in plan. Okay, remember this is the one that we already prepared. Save according to the date, 14 January 27. And then click save. Okay, now you have done generating data for the first 2 weeks of the project. Okay, next, go for the next next cycle here. Next date is 28 what we call here January. So you use the same file and continue. Okay, you use the same file. Don't open up the original file, whatever. You continue. That should be the way. You continue. So again, you repeat the process. Start with project information. Change the date 28. Change the date 28, and then don't forget to click. Sorry, this one is wrong. 28, and then click OK. And then second step is update project. So 28 is there, and click OK. Now you see, this is the thing. Copy. So you paste into here. And then this is 33. That is how you do things. Okay. Now you already completed on the second updating. So don't forget to save as. Okay. 28 January. 28, and then click save. Later on, you will appreciate why we need to save into date, because once we go into the third folder, then we can make comparison. If you do not save into date, then basically you cannot trace back. That is the issue. This is what we call folder management. Okay, now we already completed on the second date. The third date will be on what is this? 11 February. Okay, click on project. Find 11 February here. It's already there. 11 February, and click OK. Then update project. 11 February is there. Click OK. Now you see, you get this amount. You get this amount. And then this should be 55. Okay. All right. Okay. So now don't forget to save as. File, save as. 11 February 27. Okay, save. All right. So next, what date? 25th February. Okay, click on project. 25th February. Here. 25th February. Click OK. Update project. Click OK. See, now you are getting 76. So you copy back into here, and then 76. 76 or 79? 79, sorry. 79. 79. Okay, we are almost complete the target, the plan folder. Don't forget, save as. 25th. And then click save. Mash. So click here. Click here. Click Alex. What happened? Okay. Wait a second, sorry. Seem to be lost connection. Let me. Hmm. Wait a second. All right. Okay. So 25th, the last date of the project updating 115 copy here, paste. And then this is supposed to be 95. Is it correct? 95, yes. And then save as. Okay, then save. Okay, you notice that under the for this table, between 11 and 18, it is not even 2 weeks, it is 1 week. This is the uh, last project duration, the end of project duration. If you don't believe me, okay, you can do the same thing. Project information, you can click on 18. This is the last day of the project. This is the last day of the project, and you can click OK. And you can update the project and click OK. Of course, you are going to get the same total amount of the project cost and then 100%. So what we are doing actually in folder number 2, we are generating the data as per what we wish. So that's why we set the date, and the computer will give us the data as what we wish. Why? Because perhaps we want to present those data to the client. That is the whole idea. Okay, now you already completed the whole things. Okay, once you complete, then basically you can plot the graph. No, not yet. The yellow color is not there yet. Okay, now we already completed the folder number 2. I can save this file if you want. Okay, yes, for the record keeping. This is the last date of the project, 18. And then I can click save. Okay, now we have done with the folder number 2, generating data to get according to our tentative target plan. Okay, now I just simply close this file. Okay, close the file because we are going to move into, you notice in folder number 2, we do have all kind of data generated based on certain date. Okay, now we are going to move into folder number 3. So in folder number 3, you double click those folder and make sure you change the file into proper name. Otherwise, we are going to get confused. A stands for actual. Okay, now we are going to open up this file, but I remind you earlier, folder number 3, since we are going to do the monitoring or tracking, we call it tracking, meaning to say we are going to update the project. Let's say next year, 1st January, we started the project, and then until 2 weeks. So we can update the project based on the information, the real information that we collected. Then only we can input the data. But if we want to input the data into the Microsoft project, we need to save this file into the baseline first. Okay, so first thing first, you open up, you change the file name, you open up. It is the same file that we have been working before. We do not change anything. So first thing first, before we start, insert column. Don't forget to insert column, actual cost. The same as in folder number 2, insert column, send complete. Or save this project file into baseline. Okay, first thing first, if you do not know whether the project has been saved at baseline or not, you can take a look at two things. First, you click on project information, click on statistic. There is a baseline here, 000. So meaning to say this file has sometimes you start working this file that you do not know whether this file has been saved as baseline or not. And then you start inputting do the tracking. So the tracking will to keep. Okay. Okay, wait a second. Where's that thing? All right. Because my just the computer keep. Can you see the screen? Anybody?
No, Doctor.
Okay. 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 So I shall continue. All right. Now, we already input the two column there, and then we want to save at baseline. Okay. Before want to know whether you have this being into baseline or not. Okay. There is one view that you can open. Click us. There is a tracking gun. At the tracking gun, where is the things? Here. Let me click on view the entire project. I see. So again, to get this view, you can go to task, under task, gun chart menu, click on tracking gun. So you will notice this kind of tracking gun views, which is different from the normal gun chart that we have. Okay, so Microsoft Project basically can give you different views. You just need to click. Okay, you know that there's only one bar for each task. So meaning to say we have not saved baseline yet. Now, I am going to save baseline. The menu is here under project. And you notice set baseline. We can click set baseline. There are many baseline that you can click, but if we start on the first time, so click on the baseline. The other baseline is basically when you do the project recovery, meaning to say you already started the project, and let's say after 1 month you want to submit a new one, you can save it into different baseline. Okay, so for the start, we just simply click on. Now you see, there are two bar for each task. The bottom bar basically that bar is not going to be moving around. It will stick there. That is what we call it baseline. Whereas the top bar will be moving according to our input. Because what we are now doing is do the tracking. Tracking on the real. How do we update the project? First thing first, we need here. That I give you. Item number 3, how to update the project. I give you 3 scenarios. Scenario 1, scenario 2, and scenario number 3. I only will give you example on scenario number 1, how to update the project. So you have to continue to update the project for scenario number 2, save as, and then continue for scenario number 3 and save as. Then only you are going to complete this yellow color column. When you complete yellow color column, the variance will basically, you just simply deduct actual with target, you are going to get the variance. Okay, how do we do that? Okay, let's our the way to do that is slightly different. Right? But we are not going to update the project. We are going to update based on activities or tasks. So that's why we need to select according to the task. Okay, now how to do that? You notice that we are going to update on the first 2 weeks of the project. It looks like the first 2 weeks of the project here, only a few items affected. Looks like survey setting out zone A, maybe started, maybe completed. Then earthwork zone A, maybe started, not yet completed. Certain portion. And then item number 6, survey could the amount will appear in column actual cost and percent complete. Okay, actual cost and percent complete. All right, so how do we do that? Okay, first thing first, select survey. Select survey, okay, select survey, and then we need to update task. Where is the button to update the task? Of course, it is under the menu task. And it is under the mark of, and you notice there is update task. So based on the information that I give to you, ABC. So I just basically show you based on item 1 only. The rest you have to explore by yourself to see whether you can get the right information or not. Okay, let's assume survey and setting out zone A already started and already completed. For sure, you already know the date that you collected on site. So you input the date. Let's assume the date as per my instruction is 1st January, the same date, the same starting date, but the finishing date is slightly different. Now, this is what we call scenario. Say it is 11 January instead of 9 January. And then click OK. And data is being generated automatically. Okay, being generated automatically. Okay, by right now I should click on project information. I should set the date first. Okay, I forgot to do that. To set the date, this is the date is basically for us uh, to get the date on the report. Otherwise, it will give different date, status report. Okay, so that the setting first, you set the date for the project information, then basically you select the task, and then you click on cancel. The first activities. Then on second activities here, update task here. Update task. Let's assume item number 4 already started. We know the date, but it is not completed yet. When it is not completed, we know how much quantity of work being done. That is, we can input in terms of percent complete for that task. So how do I do that? I will change the date. I will put the date according to starting date, the same as the current date. Okay. The rest is status for that particular activity. Let's say 20%. Okay. Is it 20%? I'll check. Is the information given on item number 33333, item number 31B. 20%, yes. Okay. Now, after inputted 20%, then I click OK. So you see, now the status of the project has been updated for us automatically. And then lastly, here, surveying and setting out zone B. Okay, we click on update task. It start on the same date as the project, current project. Okay, so put the date first, 12. But the progress of survey is only 10%. Then click OK. So this is the value that we want here. Copy and put into our Excel. Okay, this amount. And this one is how many percentage? 11%. Okay, this one is 11%. Okay, this is how you generate data based on the folder number 3. Okay, this file, don't forget to file save as. Folder number 3, put a date 14 January 27 and click save. Okay, so now you already have the data based on actual progress. So for updating number 2, as per item number 3, so you use the same file, you will continue, read one by one. There are how many items that I mentioned there? 2, A, B, C, D. There are A, B, C, D. So follow that thing closely. So meaning to say you need to update 4 activity in this file. When you do that, automatically you will get the actual cost and then project completion. So you copy this thing and put into your Excel on 28, what we call January. Okay. So again, I repeat. So you use the same file that you already saved before based on item 1. Then you click the project information date. So now it is on the 14th. So you want it to be on the 28th. And then click this one is 28 and click OK. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. You just set the date only. But then you are going to update based on the task, not based on the project. Remember? For folder number 3, we update based on each task, one by one. So once you input the data, automatically you will generate this information. This information you will copy into your Excel to fill up the yellow part there. So the only remaining value is the two what we call on date 28 January and 11 February. Okay, so let's say we already saved this one on 14 January, and now we already completed generating information based on folder number 3. Let's assume after you're done until number 3, you completed everything. I just want to show you one thing before we go. Okay, you notice that why we basically do the folder management. In Microsoft Project, under report, you notice there is a compare project. This menu is very similar function as in Primavera. Only a few years back, the Microsoft basically copied the same things. So we can try to compare. So I click compare, and the computer is asking us to compare with what? And of course, we are now currently under actual, what we call actual 14 January. Of course, we want to compare with plan 14 January folder file, sorry. Click open and then click OK. Now, the computer is basically giving us, you see, side by side file based on actual and based on plan. So why we do that? Because sometimes you want to trace back what happened along the way. You plan one thing and what happened is another thing. So by comparing both files at the same on the same screen, then basically you can trace. But again, you can only do that once you do the file management as what we did. So that's why we created folder after folder, so that we are not going to mess around with file that we do not know which one is which. And we still have the original file, isn't it? So original folder is meant to be as a backup. If anything gone wrong, we still have those things. That is the intention. Okay, so now we already finished on that demonstration. And lastly, let's say you already have this data, okay? You already have this data on your Excel. What you need to do, for instance, I just give you one example. Okay, this is, let's say, 84. Okay, let's say you already have this data. You can highlight the whole table, insert, find the right, maybe this, I don't know which one is which, line, this line, this line. Let's try this line. Oh, this is not good data. Sure, okay. Okay, why don't we try with this one, whether it works or not. Okay, insert, okay. Oh, because I use different thing. Okay, never mind. If I can open up mine and okay, like this. Okay, once you have the information like this, okay, information like this, what you can do basically you highlight, okay, you highlight, and then because I put this symbol inside the value, by right you should have the value only. So you can insert and then choose the right graph, maybe like this, okay, and then you can basically move this graph, okay, page layout, and move into different chart, and then the rest basically you make up you make up the what we call chart, okay, by putting a label, etc., etc. That's how you do. So for instance, mine, I use this chart. I put a label, data, and table, whatever. You can put even lines after line. And this is the physical progress, and this is the financial progress based on the information that you basically generated. Okay, generated. But of course, this is not completed. You need to figure out the two more item there, the blank one, and of course, you should get the complete picture of the progress based on plan versus actual. Okay, so that would be the things to do for the assignment number 3. So we demonstrated how basically we can use data and input into the computer and look at a few other things. For instance, the issue of resource over allocation, the red man, and etc. etc. So in the real situation, that is how you input the data into Microsoft project, and the rest basically you just simply make use of what being generated. And Microsoft project basically do have many more views that you need to click here and there. Of course, we don't have time to tell you all. Okay, so if, for instance, you can explore later on for on your learning purposes, you can click on what the menu on the left side of the screen there, one by one, and then basically you can see there are many things that we have saved in the class that we have done manually. For instance, usage tabulation, resource tabulation, everything can be shown. Okay. All right. So that is what is we want to demonstrate. We already saved this thing, isn't it? Okay. Okay, let's go back to our. So we finish on this thing. The last thing that we want to do is take your attendance. Okay. So any question with regard to Microsoft project, you can basically ask us later on. You can WhatsApp. And most of the time, from our experience, students from anywhere, we have teach people many semester, and we have teach people. Last week, I went to Kota Kinabalu to teach the same student, space student. Well, because it is physical, face to face, they managed to get the project done along with me. While I was demonstrating those things, they completed their work. Actually, it is not that difficult. But normally you can spend maybe 1 hour. You should complete everything. Okay, now let's go back to our here. What is that thing? Okay, there you goes. The attendance for today, the last day of the class. And don't forget to please do the EPPK for both of us, for 3 of us. I myself, Dr. Abdul Rahman, and Dr. Farah also. Dr. Farah is basically also in this class. Basically, he listened to my class because later on, I don't know, maybe she will take over because I will retire next month. Okay, so I am finished. That's why I'm teaching the rest of the lecturer to basically later on perhaps they will take over the class successfully, better than me. Okay then, all right.